All right, let's kick it off.
First topic.
So, Neon Gorilla, SEO, you know, we're typically focused on helping content teams navigate through the changes in the industry. We've seen what it's like 5 years ago, we're seeing what it's like now. Things are changing, everybody's got their eyes on scale at the moment. And the concerns seem to be around quality, really. It's like quantity versus quality, you know. Is it worth scaling 300 blogs that aren't actually any good?
Yeah, well, this is the debate, really, and you're right about saying things have changed. Things have changed absolutely massively from 10 to 15 years ago, where you could rank sites so simply, just put up a page, a couple of hundred words, really thin content, potentially point a few backlinks to it, and there you go. There really wasn't much to it, so things have evolved massively.
I think that's a good thing, though, for the users. You know, for the final customer, rather than them getting sold a product when they search for a keyword, I think now it's a lot more trusted. It's a lot more what the people actually need, and that's great. It makes it harder for marketing because you can have a little bit less persuasion, but you've got to change with the times, and you've got to, you know, adapt your strategies. You can't just, like you said, throw up a page, throw some backlinks.
No. It's much more about the ecosystem now. That's how we're seeing that Google ranks sites. It's not just about one page anymore. It's about the whole supporting structure. That's the website structure. That's the content ecosystem. That's ensuring that the topical clusters are all tied together. The internal linking strategy is spot on. This is how Google ranks websites now. It's not about actions or single actions anymore. It's about the entire system and how you build that system. You know, the depth of research that we've put into building or trying to build our system so that we can scale content with quality, with real depth, because essentially that's what Google's looking for now. You know, EEAT.
And to put it into perspective, it used to be, what was it, 10 impressions for a click on Google?
Yeah.
60,000 impressions for a click now.
Yes.
And now we're looking at transitioning into, you know, let's say 100% of people use ChatGPT. There's a potential zero-click search and a zero-click buy there. People are actually carrying out the transaction within ChatGPT. So the shift is towards ranking within ChatGPT, and we know that. But the techniques that ChatGPT uses to find the right people, yes, they have evolved, but generally they do still rely on authority. You've got to have authority in the space that you're going after. And
yeah, I mean, it's getting that balance, isn't it? You know, we're talking about the way SEO has evolved and the way that just more fundamentally people bring traffic to the site. You mentioned some examples of the LLMs there. So you need a strategy as well that can scale, that can, you know, achieve success across both, that can work for SEO, but can also work for the LLMs. So there's lots that goes into that, lots of thought. You know, we've played, I mean, how many times have we tried to design, you know, structures for content that will potentially rank and pull traffic from different AI tools and SEO? How many times have we tried to even push and promote little initiatives like LLMs.text? We've tried to experiment with tactics like that, and we've seen a little bit of success. Next point.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I think there's a big shift of it is becoming more the human and the machine becoming more entailed, and that's like the human using the LLM, but it's also the teams behind the businesses need to get more and more inclined with the tech. And a big topic is obviously quantity, and it's like how does an average team even consider scaling what they do? You know, they might be stuck on WordPress. They might have a team of 5 or 10 marketers. You know, a couple of guys in the tech team. They're obviously focused on building a product or maybe maintaining this and that. But there's so many theories out there and so many systems that we could use to scale content. So where do you go? You know, every site needs something different. So
yeah, there's an incredible amount of trial and error when it comes to this process as well, especially when you're saying about scaling automation at scale. Especially when you're talking about scaling content. I don't know. I can't.
Talk about some of the things that can break when we're scaling content. So, you know, you can't just speed up a bad process. You know, you'll come across so many issues.
Yeah, on a test run, you might have 3 internal links within all of your automation for each post, and all of a sudden you scale up to 5,000, and you then have 5,000 internal links that are broken.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah,
we've seen
it a few times.
Yeah,
but it's a case of trial and error, isn't it? You know, you need to make mistakes to learn from them, but it's the amount of times that you encounter errors and how you approach them is the key to success. Really, it's persistence, isn't it? Persistence.
And is it AI? Is it AI in automation? Is it, you know, what is it? How much of it is AI, and why would it not be AI when you're using, or when with the goal of scaling content? How much of it is dependent on AI?
The content itself.
What I want to tap into is like AI decay, hallucination, things that you need to watch out for. If you were explaining to someone who was looking at scaling content, how would you, based on like literally everything we've just done for Choose My Car?
You can go to ChatGPT and say, here, give me some blog topics. I want to talk about this. It doesn't know about you. It doesn't know about your company. It needs some sort of knowledge base. And I know they have long-term memory now, but there's not a core knowledge base that the AI can reliably fetch information for. No. You need an internal links document. You need to have tone and flow, style guides. All of these are factors when you're building at scale and you're trying to produce this content at scale. You know, and plugging them into these automations.
And you're utilising so many tools as well.
Oh, it's an incredible.
Yeah, you can't just do it in one step either, is it? It's not just like, here's the ingredients, now cook, you know. No. You've got rigid rules across even the paragraphs you're trying to pull off, and like maybe some graphs in there, some link rules, you know, you've got to layer it on, because AI does hallucinate, it does decay, and maybe you resort to some more traditional methods in tech. Like we found success in just rejecting some stuff in and out. You know, especially when someone's offloading content to you that they've done with AI. That's like, yeah, we can help. Yeah, we want to help, but it often comes with a lot of issues where a human in the loop shouldn't spend their time on adding bullet points or.
No, absolutely not.
AI can be incredibly verbose as well. The amount of times that it will just go off on a tangent after you've given it 5,000 rules, let's say. You need to have those old school scripts in place that can deal with the formatting, that can set up, the specific knowledge documents that you require.
And how would AI where would AI's place in those old school scripts be? You know, because it does still have a place in the ecosystem.
AI is expanding upon the rules that we've set, so it expands and then it produces the content, let's say, for like each paragraph. But there are the rules in place initially that are the backbone of the AI prompt, let's say. But obviously when you are producing at scale and you have all these automations, you don't just run through and say, I want a blog post about this with a little bit of some documents that you might have about your company. You need a multi-step process with a ton of different tech that are required, especially old school tech as well. You need some old school practices like rejects, some find and replace. It's funny, but really that's all you need.
If this, then that, you know.
If this, then that.
Back to the Bronze Age.
If you've got 5 bullet points in one section that have no full stops, and then the next section has full stops and capital letters everywhere, it doesn't make sense. But the AI doesn't recognize that. You have to then introduce those manual scripts in.
Yeah, and it's not so simple as saying, here's my 5,000 word blog, fix all the bullet points based on this rule, because the capacity of the brain of these machines, it can't just regurgitate the whole 5,000 words at scale. You know, if you need that done 100 times a week, and each step's rewriting each thing, you know, you talk about costs as well, and these blogs are typically returning marginally a little bit less as people are increasing quality. So you've got to be careful with when and where to use AI.
We're very far off AGI, very far. I know Sam Altman and the Anthropic guy is saying that it's in a couple of years, but no, it's not a brain yet. It's a tool still, but you need to ensure that the tool is instructed very strictly and that all the rules are really tightly enforced. Otherwise it goes off on the tangents and it just reads something and it'll forget half of what it's read. And it'll reply back to you and you're talking about ponies, it will talk to you about cars. It doesn't make sense.
And how that impacts marketing itself. Remember, marketing, there's objectives. Founders want return on the money. Marketers need to enforce brand. And when it does come back talking about a pony, but you've asked it about a car, that's a problem. At scale, 500 blogs down the line, and you get a little message saying, you've talked about the brand colours wrong, and it's these are the type of things you've got to enforce with more traditional tech.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talked a lot about things that we can automate, but we know that there are even sort of limitations there. I mean, what do we think? Some of the things that we potentially couldn't automate,
what you couldn't automate, and what you shouldn't.
Or what you shouldn't really.
The goal here isn't to automate everything. The goal is to allow the humans to do what the humans should be good at.
Yeah.
The developers automate development, but they focus on problems and solving. Marketers, they need to relate to the customer. They need to find out how to do that and really enforce that along the way. But they don't want to be stuck in delete and add, that kind of thing. The human in the loop needs to read it. Somebody has to read the blog.
Yep.
And if you're doing that at scale, and you're doing 105,000 word blogs, average read time's 40 minutes. You need to set aside time for reading the blog. Rewind 5 years and that person didn't have to only read the blog, they had to read 10 other blogs to find the inspiration for the paragraph that they were talking about.
Go out and search for those links externally.
Everything,
absolutely everything.
So it is faster, but don't get too greedy, I would say. From what we've seen, it's a race, but you can quickly fall over.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
One key part of the human in the loop is actually the initial phase where we're finding out their style guide, how the content should be written. Without any of that human in that loop, nothing can be done.
Yeah, massively.
You cannot automate building a knowledge base. Where do you get the knowledge from? It's from people. Yeah. It's from humans. You can't just ask an AI, how do I replicate it? No, a human has to read that and sit down.
In the era of AI that we're in, have you seen one of the massive trends is storytelling. Storytelling's becoming a job. You can become head storyteller.
Yeah.
Copywriting, which is what people thought was going to be the first thing to get automated, and it is. Now that everyone's doing it, it's coming back to itself. Copywriting is actually becoming a human skill, and the ability to write with imperfection and find errors and stand out as someone who isn't robotic is massive. So that's where the human comes in.
So important, because if everyone tries that approach as well, who comes out on top?
Well,
if you haven't got that extra layer, if you haven't got that input, if the search landscape is going to be just proliferated with tons and tons of AI content, how do you make it stand out?
Supply and demand.
No one's going to read the content if everything's AI. We've already got AI, emailing us back and forth between each other. Summarize this email, which is an AI that's already sent it. And then we're sending back an email with an AI.
Yeah.
It doesn't make... No one's going to be interested in the content if you don't have those imperfections or a personal point of view from someone that's in that loop.
And it won't rank.
It won't rank.
And Google, so many examples. People think they can just go on ChatGPT, get 10 topic ideas for their blog, just copy and paste into WordPress.
And it's like, whoop-de-doo, I've just written 10 blogs, and they actually look better than the blogs I wrote last time.
They do. Okay, maybe they're structured a little bit better.
If something seems too good to be true, it is.
It is.
You've got to stick by that.
There's an absolute entire process that is backed by deep SEO research. Keyword research. You pointed out made some really good points about internal linking.
Difficulty.
Yeah,
it's getting harder.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But also as well, I think when you put so much effort into the keyword research side of things and some of the SEO theory, you open up a lot more opportunities as well, even just beyond what the AI could
What I like about it is it opens room for testing and like ideas now. The pace at which an idea can get to the front line is great, and you can, like you say, test things and A/B test and ABC test. You know, it's just it's scary thinking about how complex and how sort of competitive it's going to become, and it is becoming. Yeah. And you know, we're here helping people race. You know, we're lacing up boots, training how to run those legs, and you know, people are running faster and they are winning, but it's just the race is on, and you need to be taking a methodical approach, preempting issues, but trialing with confidence. And yeah, it's an interesting industry. I mean, it's always changed. I think I joined it a little bit later than you, but
yeah, it's always changed. But this has been probably the biggest and most fundamental change, you know, since 2011 potentially. It's, you know, it's absolutely huge for the industry.
You don't learn by doing everything right. You learn by failing, and then the amount of times you fail means the amount of times you've succeeded is far greater than someone that's never failed. You don't just
insert a fucking find the right quote from someone, and
that will never happen. You'll never find the right quote. You'll never find the right process, the right multi-step process with all your internal links, all of your knowledge base, and everything that you've built. And then the content comes out, and it might as well have been written by a child. Like, there's nothing that can, you know, you have to have. Oh, that threw me off. Sorry.
Stripe founder was in a race. He was in a race to create the first online banking. You know, he was up against these high street banks, and no one thought that it was going to work. And 80% and go was his ethos. 80% and go. If it's 80% ready, go. You know, because that last 20% you can spend a lot of time on. You'll probably spend 80% of your time on that last 20.
I remember it's an improvement process as well. Just like you has always been in the case in SEO and content, good content, not thin content. It's always been a development process. It's never been the case of getting one page or one blog up and then just letting it mature in the search.
No,
and just
you scatter a topic and you see what's working.
And if you do have the right system as well, then you can constantly go back and improve content as well, which is and you can do it quickly and efficiently.
And change the direction of it based on what you've learned. You know, really, it comes down to, I guess, the client's risk, the client's appetite for risk. It's like that 80% is up to them. How fast do they want to go? You know, we could spend ages perfecting every single blog and getting every single character right. And there are risks to going fast. And that's the whole quantity versus quality argument that people have. We're seeing return in quantity. Enforcing quality is the premium game alongside that, and I think it's going to be the more long-term game. What I'd like to think is going to be a method of success at the moment is to scatter content out in different streets, you know, see what's going on, see who it resonates with. Once you start seeing patterns and once you start seeing returns and there, you'll know based on your website and your business exactly what works. You see that, whatever's peaking, double down on that. That's when you enforce quality at scale. You break down the keywords, you go more in depth, you try different techniques, and over time you'll see that approach that you're taking is going to cumulatively scale your clicks versus everybody else. I think doing that alongside enforcing authority or demonstrating authority is going to be the success over the next 5 years.
Yeah, and ties back to what I was saying about the ecosystem, different content pillars as well. You know, if you do hone down on something that is really successful, there's huge opportunity there to build different pillars around it that can be done, you know, in a much more manageable way. But you've already established a good foundation. You already know what works.
But in that, what's that going to take? You know, the concept of like throwing hundreds of keywords out there, throwing different content topics out there. It's like the tech backbone that you need there, and you know, you need to invest in credits. These credits can stack up so fast.
Oh, the technology is instrumental. Without the technology, there's no way forward. Essentially, you have to have a good value.
It's all right. We've seen we've tried a few things, haven't we? We've tried some of the market leading technology in this content space, and yeah, they're good. But one example is I spent a week on a free trial, and I was working on a workflow. I was prompting it using natural language, you know, the most accessible approach to being able to develop something. Natural language, human language. I said, you know, make this better. And I got there almost, and you know, I pressed generate blog at the end, and it was like, it wasn't right. It wasn't there. I then looked at my usage bill. I had $2,000. I'd use it for a week. Thankfully, it was a free trial, but that just puts into perspective how easily the wrong approach can stack up in terms of actual credits and costs.
Yeah, how costly.
And then compare that to the manual process that we've set up, specifically for what you're talking about. The manual process that we set up, and it hits it every single time.
Took a while to build.
That human.
Took 6 weeks of trial and error, you know.
With this flashy system that's got funding and it's amazing, it's the next best thing. And it took three 30-year-olds to just sit down and be like, right, what's actually good? Build it, and it came out with better content than this system.
And that content's live. That content's performing. Live. The graph, you know,
the graph's a hockey stick. It's ridiculously good.
It's nice to see. Look, it's not going to be forever, but you're right. You know, use your credit sparingly. Build the structure first. Theory, structure, scale.
Replace as much AI as you can. Have the AI only write and expand upon topics.
It's there
It's there for a little bit more verbose, more information, a little bit more tacking on, you know, content, just pure text. You know, just.
But the rules are often longer than the text.
The rules
on one 5,000 word blog.
The rules are absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah. And there's like. With our recent processes, we've been, you know, our scripts that we've been using to automate, there's something like 80,000 lines of code to produce a 2,000-word blog, and that's not even sending it to the AI.
But that's code.
That's just code that just goes.
Some people are just dumping an AI-generated knowledge base into an AI and saying, "Use my AI-generated knowledge base to make this and make that." And that's, you know, to be honest, some of the tools that we've seen.
Yeah. Regardless of whether you create that, you know, 80,000 lines of code with or without AI. It's still a lot more reliable than just throwing it into an AI that's supposed to have general knowledge. It doesn't have
leveraging the generation for scaffold, not for That's more surgical, isn't it? Approach there. That's when, you know, tech marketing and kind of whatever become one. Using tech and marketing with each other is the solution in this kind of space right now.
Well, developers usually always hated SEO guys as well, because it's a lot of work to get SEO right. Yeah, I know.
And design,
right, you know.
and design,
and design. Oh, it's always just on the developers.
You know, the brand and the designer wants just like a H1 that doesn't really mean anything, but it resonates with someone. And then SEO comes in and goes, "It's got no keywords in it, mate." I'm like, "Fuck."
Oh no.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, when there's like 50, 55, 60 elements that I'm trying to pass on to the development team. That's the kind of level of sort of granular detail that we're trying to actually put into the system. Yeah. You know, it's header tags. You know, it's internal links. It's even phrasing. It's, you know, it's avoiding keyword stuffing. It's developing paragraphs, developing tone. You know, that's the thing with AI content as well. Something really, really struggles with is tone. So how do you perfect that? You know, you have to build out that sort of base. You know, you have to test. You know, we've tested to try and get it to the level that, you know, we think now is, you know, amongst the best in the industry. I'm very confident to say that.
Okay. Do you think that the quality of the blog that you could produce now it outranks the quality of blog that you could produce, say, 5 years ago?
With the right tools, absolutely. I remember its time as well. If I think of everything that you know, it would have taken to build the perfect blog, you know, 2, 3, 4 years ago, even, we're talking competitor research, we're talking detailed keyword research, we're talking at looking at so many examples of different types of content. Then we're talking about generating the outline for the content. if you've got the right tools and structure and systems in place, a lot of that time can now be better spent on other areas of SEO, potentially for me personally speaking as an SEO. And the quality standard is getting scarily good if you are leveraging the right tools, like excellent in terms of structure, in terms of satisfying EEAT requirements. Absolutely great.
The waters are rising, aren't they?
The waters are rising.
Yeah.
You know, it is scary in a way when you think about it and when you sort of step back. But you just have to think
Just
about...
swim, haven't you?
No,
Get out there and go.
We're not swimming. We're not swimming with everyone else. We've already built the boat.
We've got the boat, mate.
We've got the boat. We've got the oars. We've got everything. We might even get a jet engine on the back of the thing.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Be nice, wouldn't it? But you're right. You know, we'll help people swim. We'll help people float. Wherever you're at, if you can't swim, give us a shout.
Yeah, for sure.
We're Neon Gorilla, and this is what we do.